Today we're going to learn a little bit about the Chinese Jian.
And to teach us, we have our friend John.
Hi there, I'm John, and I'm from Iron Ox Physical Culture in San Diego, California.
Jian, John.
That's not going to be a problem
It's not
at
going to
all.
be a problem at all.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started.
So before we learn how to use this weapon, how would you tell us about its history?
Sure, well, the Jian is quite old. It goes back a couple thousand years in China, if not more. The word Jian just means sword. So really any double-edged straight object like this would be considered a Jian. This might be called a Chang Jian in certain periods, long Jian basically, but a Jian is a Jian. This really isn't so much of a battlefield weapon, at least this iteration of it isn't. There were times in history when you would see Jian and Dao in about equal numbers on a battlefield, but from the Han Dynasty forward, this is much more of a dueling weapon or a high-ranking officer's weapon than something you're going to be fighting with in a melee on the battlefield.
So culturally at that point it would kind of occupy the same space as a rapier.
In a way, yes, and oftentimes it was a status symbol. So people who might not even have real social status might have a Jian fashioned for them so they could look like they had status while they were out and about.
That's really cool. So let's start with the basics. How do you hold this?
So the way I like to think about this is all Jianka are metal heads. So instead of gripping it with like a hammer grip or a handshake grip, you're literally going to wrap your middle and ring fingers over, get your thumb in there, and then gently relax the index and pinky fingers onto the blade. This allows your grip to be a lot more lively and fluid because your hilt can kind of move in the palm a little bit. So it allows for quicker direction changes and a little more fluidity in your motions.
My fingers are too small.
It's gonna feel weird at first, but that lozenge shape to the grip is gonna facilitate that a little bit.
Okay.
If you're too far down, it'll feel super weird. If you're too close to the husho, it's also gonna feel strange. Just a finger or two beneath the husho or beneath this ferrule should be fine.
Okay.
And then if you just kind of do this motion, you'll kind of naturally settle into a comfortable grip.
Okay, so now we kind of know how to hold it. I'm working on it. But once we figure out how to hold it, what's like a good, like a ready position or some guards that we should do? How do we go about using this weapon?
So the ready position is pretty simple. It's kind of like what we did with the Dao. Okay. Most of your weight is going to be in the back foot, and that foot's going to be off about 45-ish. The front foot is placed a little bit ahead, and you're going to be on the ball of the foot.
Okay.
Most of your weight's in the back. You should be able to freely move this around, tap the toes. This foot can basically do whatever it wants, is the vibe that you want.
Yeah.
And your guard position is just putting that sword out there, almost like you're in third in saber a little bit, like it's rotated out to the side. Your offhand's gonna do something kind of fun though. You're gonna make the sword talisman hand. So you just stick those two fingers out, make sure they're connected, and that can sit here on the inside of your arm, it can be on your pulse, could just be floating by the shoulder, or it could be out here if you want to look fancy and get style points.
What is this doing for us? Or is that gonna come up later?
It's going to come up in a couple places. This is probably a Taoist thing that found its way into Chinese swordsmanship, because Taoists will actually use Jian for their rituals. Oh. So not only will they have this talisman hand while they're using the weapon, sometimes they'll even grip the sword like this to do their thunder rituals.
like this a lot better.
Probably feels natural, doesn't
I like
it?
this a lot. This is how I hold my rapier.
Exactly. So Jianfa is kind of finicky as a sword fighting system. So to get you guys kind of familiar with what we're going to be doing with our cuts, thrusts, and deflections, I have a fun drill that I want to show you how to do that you won't need the sword at all. Well, I will, but you won't. And it'll show you how we need to move to set up all of the other moves we're going to be doing in this art, okay?
All right, we're ready.
So this is the fun part because I get to stab you. It's excellent. So you're going to take that same fighting stance that we took before, right? If you could, just move your right foot out a little bit more. You want that nice open space. You want that getaway room. And what I'm going to be doing is thrusting to your shoulder joints and your hip joints. Those are primary targets for us in Jianfa. Okay. The idea is if I hit you here, I've disabled that arm, or if I hit you in the hip, you're basically doomed. Now you kind of actually fell into the pattern we're going to be going for. We're not going to move the feet as much, but you did something with your waist. You turned it. You actually used your waist to guide the body, which is what we talked about in the Dao Fa lesson.
Why I did it.
So essentially what's going to happen, and I'll actually let you hold the sword for this one, I'm going to be sitting in this position. Let's say you're thrusting from my right shoulder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sink my weight into that back leg, and I'm going to turn my waist so that I pull that target away from you.
Okay.
As I return to that position, let's say you shoot for the other shoulder. I do the same thing. I drop my weight and I spiral down and I pull that target away. If we're a little bit closer, so I could be easily struck here, if you feed that thrust again, I'm just going zoop, and I pull away.
Okay.
We play kind of close and tight in Jianfa. The vibe is I let you dump your momentum into nothing, and I just go, nope. And in here I could be throwing a cut up into your hand, or when we're doing deflections, it's the same thing. When you thrust in here, I'm going, nope, and I do my deflection. When you go to the hips, the same rule applies. When you go for this hip, I just turn it away. If you were doing a really committed thrust, maybe I would pull that back, but for the most part, I just pull the target away.
Okay.
Same thing on the other side. Zoop, I sink my weight, spiral down, and I'm not getting stabbed.
Does it help to say zoop?
It helps me. The sound effects are required.
Okay.
All right, so to do this drill, willow bends, I'm just gonna go around the clock a little
Okay.
bit. I'm gonna go right shoulder, right hip, left hip. And so you're already kind of getting it, so that's
I'm
good.
trying to get used
So
to
I'm
it.
gonna measure the range first. I wanna make sure I can actually touch you.
Okay.
So there's a real threat.
Yeah.
So I start from my position and I thrust for that right shoulder, you pull it away. Your back's nice and straight, I like that. I'm gonna go for that left shoulder. Nice. I go for the hip. Good. Booty's kicking out a little bit, but that's
Too
not
much
so
kick
bad.
out? You want kick
Yeah.
out or no kick out?
We don't want the Instagram booty.
Ah, okay.
We want straight down if possible. Yeah.
I feel a little tension here when I do that. This helps alleviate it. Should I not do it?
So if you're going a little bit too deep so that you're feeling tension, just stay a little bit higher.
Okay.
You can spiral down without dropping the weight super
Oh,
far.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we do that again,
Okay.
I go for that shoulder, I go for this shoulder. And what's kind of fun is for me, this allows me to work the mirror side of those mechanics. You're spiraling down in order to protect yourself. I'm spiraling up.
To extend.
Exactly.
I think it's Clark's turn.
All right, Clark, it's your turn. Go and take your fighting stance.
Stance.
Nice. All right, we're gonna fix one teeny tiny little thing. Bring that front foot a little bit closer. Nice. If that foot is a little too far out, you're gonna start to pitch your weight over that. If it's closer in, we kind of want to think of this like a flying buttress. Here's the main support. This is just extra help, so to speak. So I'm gonna go around the clock. I'm gonna start with that right shoulder. So we just pull that bad boy away. See if you can keep the back straight and eyes on me.
Back straight.
Yeah, there we go. Eyes on the money. There we go. That's going okay. Nice. I like how you're pivoting on the ball of the foot. That's going to be important not only for the body mechanics, but also to rescue your supporting knee. Nice. And a fun little thing here is you'll notice that whether I am thrusting for this shoulder or if I were doing a vertical cut, you would be doing that same evasion, right? And it's all in the waist. We say the waist is the commander for a reason. It's not that I'm going, "Whoa."
Yeah, it's not shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not using the shoulders.
Waist.
In a pinch, you could do it, but you want that waist to command it so that when you're doing your deflections, the whole body is behind that motion. All right, so now we're gonna take those body mechanics and we're gonna apply it to our cuts and thrusts. So it's fairly straightforward. You saw how the thrusting worked when I was working with you guys. From that guard position, all I'm really doing is I supinate my hand and I push off this back foot. I spiral up and I extend that thrust. We call this action 次. So that palm is gonna be up at the end of the thrust, just like that. And the primary targets for this are usually gonna be shoulder joints. Again, we're incapacitating our opponent, but also there's arteries and stuff in there. He's probably still gonna die. So from here, I start from that neutral position. I turn the palm over and I spiral up. And you see how I turn the waist there. I'm a little bit rounded. I'm not fully extended out like this. Almost rounded like a bow, just a little bit. Nice, and then we come back. We spiral back down into that position. From here, I spiral up again. And then this hand just tracks behind. You still got that nice sword talisman hand, and you want a little bit of energy there. You don't want to just be like, and it's chilling.
Tension?
Yeah, just a little bit of springy tension there.
Is this a counterweight? Are we kind of like rapier style? Like
There is a little bit of that going on there. There's also, it's kind of a reach thing. So if I'm trying to stab Clark, and I just go, I can reach about here.
But when you blade.
But if I blade, turn the shoulders a little bit, I'm not going as extreme. I'm not trying
Okay.
to do this. Still a little bit rounded.
Okay.
Because from here, I'm sort of stuck in that position just a little bit. I want to be rounded, so if I miss this, I can go, whoa, and deflect and do something else. It's like we don't overcommit for fear that we'll overcommit too hard
We're
and
not
get
getting a
killed.
full incrotata.
Yeah. There are times when we'll do something kind of similar,
Okay.
just not quite that intense. Now the thrust is the easy one. The cuts are where things get kind of fun. So we'll start with the P cut, the splitting cut. We did that in the Dao lesson where it's usually kind of this downward shearing motion, or really percussive shearing motion. In this one, it's almost like a percussive cut and a push cut had a baby.
Okay.
So what we do, and we'll start kind of like we did with the P cut in the Dao, we'll drop the tip down to prep the motion. That's your defensive roll. And then I project the cut out and I spiral up such that it hits and pushes. So the cut kind of goes forward into the target more than it strikes down. This is a little smoother. So it's not two cuts in one. It's kind of like I come here, I've got my wind up or my deflection, and I just project out. Reach out and touch someone is what I tell my students.
So here,
A little bit like that, yeah. Imagine that initial cut strikes my shoulder, it opens the initial wound channel, and then as it projects forward, it
So this
slashes.
is like Zorn Art?
In a way, yeah, kind of saw-like.
Okay.
It also helps you stay behind your sword a little bit. So if I'm fighting you and I do one of these, I'm not behind the sword anymore. But if I'm here, boom, I'm still behind the husho. The sword is your shield, basically. A little bit more like that. Yeah, just try to keep the elbow a little more bent, not quite as straight. Better, yes.
Oh, so the what you're saying is it's not here, it's here.
Yeah, you will see this motion in
Okay.
some traditional Chinese sword forms. There are some tactical reasons why they do that, and there's a hidden thrust in that motion oftentimes. So if you've ever seen this, that's a deflection, cut, and a thrust paired together. Whereas this is just that cut.
Got it.
You just end in a position where the tip is quite far forward.
So there's no thrust in this.
Not in this specific motion.
Got it,
But we
got
will be doing lots of stabbing with the Jian. All right, so we did a little bit of the cutting and thrusting. Now let's actually do some deflecting. And that term is actually super important. We don't tend to parry or block in Jianfa, we deflect. So I want you to think of redirecting more than directly opposing the attack. So Clark, if you wouldn't mind stabbing me. So let's say Clark wants to stab me just right in the chest. Rather than pushing that sword off to the side, I'm gonna play willow bends with it a little bit. I'm gonna yield as the thrust comes in, and I'm gonna rotate the outside flat of my sword into position. You'll notice that my tip is still basically on him. I'm presenting a threat. I've pulled his target away so it's harder for him to reach, and I've got a number of different cuts and thrusts that are lined up from there. You'll also notice I barely moved him off to the side. I didn't shove it. I didn't try to stick to it and push it away. When that thrust came in, I just went, nuh-uh, and I deflected it. I sunk and I turned the waist and put myself in a good position to counterattack.
That's really interesting because while the mechanic is different, the philosophy is the same as rapier. So if I was here and you were to thrust at me, I don't want to take you fully offline here because I've lost my advantage. What I want to do is take you just offline enough that I have my return thrust.
Yeah. And that's kind of our vibe. Like I said, we play kind of close and tight a lot of the time. As long as his sword, when he comes in, as long as it's like somewhere over here,
It's not a threat.
it's like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Unless I do something really stupid and drop my sword, and then he kind of comes back and starts trouble. But the way this works is, again, from my guard position, all I'm doing is I sink and I turn the waist, I roll that outside flat out there. I've got about a 45-degree angle with my sword, and I like to brace with my sword fingers. That's usually the way we'll do it, so I'll have it like on my pulse right there. All right, so that's the deflection against the easy side. So easy side is just the side that's easiest to turn to. Now we're gonna do the tight side. So David, I'm gonna borrow you this time.
Yes.
So let's say instead of going for my center or this shoulder, you're going for my sword arm shoulder. So if I'm in this position, your sword has that opening. What I'm gonna do is the same thing I did in willow bends. I go, not today, and I drop my weight, I turn the waist, and all I'm doing is just covering that angle. Again, I'm not trying to push it, I'm not trying to stick to it, I'm not trying to pull my sword along it. If we just go back to our guard position and you thrust, I just deny you entry. See? If we go back, I go, nope, not today. And then again, I have some options. I could, from this position, just shoot something into your hand. I could come up, strike into the forearm. If I added some footwork with that and got off to the side, I've got some strikes here that open up for that.
Okay.
And it's the same body mechanics. I just sink, turn the waist, and I deny you entry. About a 45-degree angle, this time using the inside flat of the sword. So we work the deflection for the tse on both sides. Now we're gonna put those together into a little drill. So I'm gonna borrow you once again. We'll start with that easy side. So you're thrusting either for the center or the left side of my body. I do my easy side deflection. I then spiral up. I'm gonna do the same thing to you. You do that exact same deflection. You're gonna then go in for my sword arm shoulder. I'm gonna pull back. I deny you entry. I'm gonna reorient my sword. I do the same thing. You deny me entry. The way that we keep this drill flowing is that as you're getting ready for your next thrust, I'm gonna circle underneath. As you then go for my easy side, boom, I come here. I go for your easy side. You go for my tight side. I deny you entry. I go for your tight side. As you reorient, I circle and I come here. And then
Okay.
1, 2, 3, reset. And you see how you have to reorient as well.
Yeah.
So we both get that little moment
Slight-
to stir and come back in.
I'd call this a disengage. Is there a fun term for it to do that reorientation?
In this reorientation, we call this jiao, stirring. So in the same way that this action is jiao,
Okay.
so is this.
Okay.
That's the confusing part. These little circles we do in Jianfa is called jiao. Deflections are jiao. It's all jiao. Jiao's all the way down. All right, so let's give this one a shot.
Yes.
So you'll start feeding me. Go ahead for my center line. Boom, I deflect. I come for your center. Good. You're gonna go for my right shoulder. I just deny you that. And now I'm gonna go for your shoulder.
Here.
And then as we both reorient, I stir underneath
As we go back.
and I deflect. You deflect. I deflect. You deflect. Jiao underneath.
Whoa.
Boom. And tight side. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we talked about cuts and deflections. Now I'm going to show you something that works for both purposes, right? So this action is called tiao. Sometimes it's called bung. It's got a lot of different names, but we'll stick with tiao for now. This action works especially well against thrusts and a number of other cuts. So Clark, I'm going to borrow you again. Let's say, for example, I cut at you and missed, right? So my
Yeah.
tip is kind of low. If you're shooting for this shoulder, rather than trying to go, ugh, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make use of that back edge of my sword. I'm gonna turn the waist again, sinking and twisting, and I'm just gonna bounce that bad boy off to the side.
This is my favorite technique in multiple weapons
Yes.
that I use
It's
this for.
awesome. And it's super OP. So you probably already figured this part out. I could do that same action to his hand.
Yeah.
So I could use it aggressively. I could get him, you know, focusing on my tip over here for whatever reason, and I could snipe underneath.
Clark and I use
strike
that in
there.
saber,
Constantly.
in rapier, and in longsword.
Love that move.
It's like the best move in all of Jianfa, and I will die on that hill. But when you get hit by it regularly,
You're like, "Oh, man!"
You're like, dude, I'm coming for you when you're not looking.
Yeah.
But so the move, I really like it at the end of a cut. So let's say I threw like a pea cut or something toward his hand, and he just moved the hand out of the way, and I'm like, oh, dude, for real? Then as he comes in, it's the same thing. I willow bends, I turn the waist, and then I just pop this to the side. And you'll notice that my hand actually kind of pops downward rather than pulling this back all the way to the hip. If I were to pull this to the hip or pull it too far back, now there's all this
Yeah.
open space, and I don't like that. Like my sword's
Yeah.
not between us. I want to deflect your weapon, but still be aimed to counterattack.
That makes sense.
That's kind of why we deflect the way that we do. I want to take aim every single time I deflect. So if David tries to
I cut
thrust
and
at
I
me-
miss. Or thrust.
Yeah, if you're gonna thrust at me, I just go, nope. And then I can do what we call the skipping stone method and go shallow target, deep target.
I like that. That's one of my tactics. So when I'm doing, no matter what the weapon is, I usually will probe a shallow target. Generally, I assume that my opponent's not going to get hit. So I'll probe that shallow target and draw out whatever the parry is, and then I'll go for the deep target. So this is stuff that works in all martial arts.
Yeah, and it's great because you get to work the double tap into your strategy.
the double tap.
Because again, I think about it in terms of like an actual fight. Just because I hit your arm doesn't mean your
you're
brain
done.
has registered that like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm wounded.
Yeah.
I might not have severed anything important yet, and you can still strike me back. But if I cut your arm and then stab you in the shoulder, you're paying attention now.
And by training yourself to go for the double tap, you avoid things like in fencing, I don't have the weapon that I'm used to, but if I go to attack the hand and you parry it and I decide, oh, I'm done, I'm not gonna follow up or I'm not gonna take whatever advantage. If I train, this isn't the end of the action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great. So if I'm feeding you this time,
Okay,
let's
let me
say, for
see.
example, you've cut and I just move my hand out of the way.
So I cut.
And I go, no. And then as you slip back, you just pop that off to the side. And you see that my energy is spent
Yeah.
over here. It's gonna take time for me to reorient.
So I
or
can-
You could just extend the sword if you wanted. Like,
Yeah.
yes, we'd prefer it if you turned your waist and did
Oh,
cool
I
stuff.
forgot, yeah.
But you don't really have to if you don't want to. Like, if I was really committed, you know, like you shot from my hand and I go, nope, and I commit to that shot, I've brought my hand to you.
So I just pop
You
it.
could just drop it and then skip the stone right in.
Bam, bam.
Yeah.
Oh, would you ever like partially articulate 1, 2?
You can kind of come from this position and go boom boom.
Yeah.
We sometimes joke in our school it's like the Netflix of striking. Boom. So if I feed that thrust again and your tip is low, you just kick me back.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. It'll
Okay.
be a little more fluid in
Yeah, yeah,
action.
yeah.
I mean, I've seen you guys fight. You guys are pretty fluid. But that's how it'll usually play
Okay.
out. And then, of course, if my tip is low and I'm leaving bait, let's say Clark again, he's trying to stab that shoulder, I can just step off and
yeah.
nick there. And I could come at that from this angle or this angle. I usually prefer coming back this way because if I were to sneak off over here and nick, I'm kind of still
Yeah.
in the line of the attack. We've done a lot of practical techniques so far, but I mean, come on, this is Kung Fu. Let's do something that's actually sexy. So we've done a lot of thrusting as a way to lead, so let's do that again. If I'm attacking Clark again, he's a nice guy, stabbing him sounds like fun. If he beats my sword out to the side a little bit harder than he normally would if you were a Genka. Like he just panic blocks. I'm just gonna borrow that momentum and I'm gonna do a tobu, a stealing step, by bringing my left foot closer to him, and I'm gonna duck low to strike into his midsection or to his thigh. Or if he were to move back as he saw me coming in, I might actually bring a thrust up here. This is very much a only do if you have like good knees and a good back and you know you can hit this one, but it's a fun technique to try.
It's got a lot of Posada Soda energy in it.
Yeah, it does.
And you can do it either defensively as I've done or kind of super aggressively here, like bam, he beats me out to the side, I can come in this way. But similarly, I could cross step back the other way. If my point were out here and he tried to come over top, I could go, not today. And I can go both ways.
Okay, you try it, Clark.
Yeah. Clark died last time, it's your turn.
Yeah.
So we get that thrust.
Rah!
You just go. You said the back
Stealing
Yeah,
step.
the left foot is gonna do a stealing
Here.
step toward him. Yeah.
Do it again.
Nice. And of course, it's a semi-awkward position, but you've got a thrust lined up.
Yeah.
That could have been a cut. You could do any number of things from this position.
Even cool is even if I don't hit and you swing after, you still have
Yep.
things you can do. That's cool.
And you're loaded on this right leg, so you can easily just push off of that to get out of dodge if you need to.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. So it's the back leg stepping through, and it's here.
Yes. Nice.
Feels like I'm used to that position for some reason.
Yeah, it
Right.
feels like you would love this.
You're sort of known for it.
Am I known for that now? Oh no.
A little bit.
Thanks again for showing us some cool techniques with these and letting us goof around with you. And once again, let everybody know where they can find you.
So you can find me in San Diego if you're in the area, but if you're looking for our website, it's iron-ox.com. And if you're interested in some of the other stuff I get up to, you can find me under Partocron on Instagram.
And also, thanks again to Ocado Armor, the ones who provided the Jians for this. This is the lively butterfly Jian from Ocado Armory, and you can find it and other Ocado Armory products on ocadoarmory.com.